Okay, so what happens? So through the self-inquiry process, you see there's greater and greater recognition of what is one's true nature, that is free of all forms of limitation and contraction or misidentification with things which are just passing things, which can change. So is it right now? Is there anything coming up? What's your experience?
Yeah, that realization that you said about the interest. So I always thought that the feeling or the emotion or the something are the issue, but they're not. It's the interest.
That's right. Okay, so this is a fundamental point, very, very important to realize, is that what creates experience is interest. What creates experience is interest. Okay, so like I often share, once like Dr. Hawkins, he was enlightened, shared the thing of once he was, and this really illustrated and really inspired me to become free in a certain way of experience. So he was out in the woods, like he had his saw chopping trees, and he cut his thumb off, so he had an allergy to anesthetic, but he knew that you can vanish experience by not resisting. So he had to go for an operation since he had cut his thumb off, and he had to tell the doctor that he's allergic to anesthetic, but he just used the spiritual tool. The spiritual tool, of course, is not to resist. Not to resist, because that then creates experience. You see, so that's like you got to be really good. You've got to put the spirituality where your money is. And he said no anesthetic, and you're going to be operated on. And he did the thing of just allowing the experience, 100% presence with it, no resistance. Now he did say that if there was a tiny bit of resistance, it was excruciating. But when there was no resistance, actually what happened is he went off into heavenly bliss. As they were like cutting, he went off into bliss because there was no resistance. When you 100%. So when there's no resistance, when there's just full allowing, you don't experience it. It just vanishes. Actually, that's for me what would make perfect sense for a white light spiritual experience. If you don't resist or have no interest in the world, then that which gravitates you into this world of limitation is totally gone. You're off into a dimension of like infinite power, light and love. But even to let go of a little bit of interest, you go into more expanded states of consciousness. So now I used this a couple of times. One was cramps. Like I used to wake up in the morning with these muscle cramps, and as soon as a cramp starts, if you don't resist and you're 100% present with it, it doesn't happen. It vanishes. But if you resist a little bit, then you get the full cramp. You see, you start to experience it. I remember once going to Muji, I had the kidney failure. I might bring the DVD in one day and play it here. We're absolutely exhausted. And he just asked me, what am I? What's experiencing all this exhaustion? Within a few minutes, I was just full of energy and I had no tiredness. So it's all this interest then that creates the resistance to the life. If you weren't resisting this moment, there'd be lots and lots of life force and energy and expansiveness in this moment. I mean, I share an example here very regularly because it's just something that everybody can relate to. Everyone's had the same experience. So, like once I was giving it this, and sometimes you get into a group sync with the group, and I was just talking, and then I said, "Oh, how many of you were noticing the traffic noise outside?" And no one was noticing. Nobody noticed the traffic noise outside. As soon as I said it, they noticed it. So that's like a thing of consciousness. As soon as interest or attention is placed on anything, suddenly you're aware of it. If there's no interest or attention on it, it doesn't exist. So we can all be sitting in this room or another room, because I've said the traffic noise now, it might not happen. But, you know, and then there could be like really noisy traffic outside, and we could be having like a dialogue here. Nobody would be aware. And even if you went back home and said, how was it? It was just him talking and that was it. There was no noise. Or you might have somebody in here, one person in the room, who might be just thinking in their head, oh, this is a very, very noisy room with lots of noisy traffic outside. But why was that person having noisy traffic and everybody else in the room, there was nothing, there was no noise outside? I think everyone here has experienced what I just said. Are we all with me? So, yeah, so you can be in a room and not hear something at all. And then you can be in a room and really hear it. So that's very important to know with consciousness, is that it's your interest. Now sometimes interest is unconscious. It's not really conscious, but then it's being interested in that. So it now becomes part of what is experienced. So it's the interest. So we're peeling back the layers, but you can just let things be there. You let them be there, but something is here that's not interested in them. Or if there is something, but let's go back. So what's happening now?
I'm realizing that this cooking thing that I've been sharing about, where I still feel it, so shoulders, all that tension, just
okay,
like,
so there's tension in the shoulders.
Yes,
yeah.
I'm realizing that it's irrelevant whether it's here or not.
Yes, true.
So that's quite interesting, like, because usually there would be, oh, I'm living life, the story they're doing, and then now there's meditation and satsang, and so I would be experiencing the inner process of, what do I call this, I don't know, purifying or whatever, melting down the ego.
Yeah.
But that doesn't matter whether it's happening or not. Because so I'm sensing how when it happens, then there is my interest of a thought, oh, this is happening now.
Yes, okay. So I mean the shoulders, and you've got tension
Yeah.
there. Okay, but what?
So this kind of is irrelevant.
Okay, it is irrelevant. Okay, so it's irrelevant. So what is you? Are you these sensations in the shoulder right now? Is that what you? Okay. So what is you? You can let those be there. But what is you? Your experience?
This peace.
Okay, this peace.
Sensing peace.
Okay.
Oh, is peace a sensation?
Peace is, okay, so there's a sensation. Is there something which is observing this peace sensation?
I feel like I'm going to disappear and I'm scared.
Okay, well, let that be here, and those thoughts are here. So there's fear and there's a thought that I'm scared, I will disappear. This is being observed now.
So if I don't have interest in that, it technically doesn't exist and it's irrelevant.
Well, these are all thoughts. These are all being observed. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So the mind's come in trying to intellectualize.
Yeah. So let the fear be there, or any feeling be here. Let the thoughts be here. Something is here that is observing all of this. I mean, this fear wasn't here a little while ago. Now it's here. Now there's some thoughts here, but there's something here that is always here that is observing it. This just came.
Yeah, there is some beingness.
Some beingness?
But
Okay.
it almost seems like there is a me and then there is beingness. And the two are separate.
So there's a me and there's a beingness. So something is here. Okay, something is here, that's always here, that can observe, that is always present, for there to be a me and a beingness. There's two separate things. Are you these two separate things? The me and the beingness?
It's almost like I go between one and another.
Okay, which one are you now?
The confused one.
Okay. So let confusion be here. Confusion is here. So sometimes there's confusion here, sometimes there's not, isn't there? So something here is here that can observe confusion coming and going, which is not confusion. Yeah? It's okay. Just like there can be a table here now, or not a table. So there can be confusion. There's confusion here. But there's something here which is observing the confusion. Because some time back there wasn't confusion. So what is here that observes that is observing the confusion, but is not the confusion? Confusion is like an object. It's like a cup of tea. Okay, fine. There's a cup of tea here now. Are you the cup of tea? Is confusion you?
No.
Okay. So what is you right now?
Yeah, there's just beingness.
Is this beingness limited in any way?
And as soon as there's beingness, there's fear.
Okay, so there's
no interest.
Okay.
There's just beingness.
Okay.
Yeah, like, it's really nice.
Can this beingness be confused?
No.
Can this beingness be limited in any way?
No.
Is this beingness a thought?
No.
Is it a feeling?
No.
Can it change?
No.
Good. So the beingness, when you recognize the beingness is being. It's always here. Beingness, once there's a recognition of beingness, that stillness in space, it only ever goes because suddenly there is interest given to something. That's the only reason it goes. As soon as you let go of the interest in whatever it is, a thought, an image, a sensation, it's always here. So just like I gave the metaphor before of the noise on the street, God even provided some noise on the street, and but the noise doesn't stop beingness, doesn't stop the peace and the stillness from being here. So everybody is in a state of stillness, peace, unity, whatever, oneness, love, all the time. But then lots of people seem to say, well, I feel limited, I've got all these aches and pains, I've got all these thoughts. There's never any peace or stillness. Well, that's because of the ego's capacity for interest in different ways in things. Otherwise, so what would happen? The great fear comes from the ego, that you're going to be a vegetable or a nothing, or sit down on the bed the whole day, doing nothing. But what can happen is that one becomes spontaneous and intuitive, you see. So it's the great thing of so sainthood is a good level. It's like St. Francis. St. Francis said, you can be an instrument of peace. An instrument. So what does instrument mean? Instrument means actually no ego. It's a very important statement when one is at such an advanced level of spirituality, like St. Francis. You see, born to eternal life, or he's now not looking for anything because he's at the place from where looking is from. So in this place, then, the experience, the best way to describe it is one is an instrument of the universe. An instrument. What does that mean? It means suddenly talking can happen, but it just happens out of nothing. Talking happens out of nothing. Or dancing can happen out of nothing, singing can happen out of nothing, speech or communication can happen out, but there's no ego there. It's just one is being orchestrated by the universe. This ego thing that was trying to think of everything and try and control everything and try and organize everything and get fearful about everything and then get very, very interested in things is no longer there. So this is it. So, I mean, we all heard things like, I think from the Bible, be still and know that I'm God.
Mm.
Yeah, be still and know that I'm God. So it's in the stilling. But can we experience the stillness? In this present moment, can one get an experience of stillness, which is not ego? And then can one stay there? Can one then become an instrument of the divine, so that this thing is at this state, the ego doesn't exist or hardly exists, and there is an experiencing of truth beyond that, you see, because that which is not given interest eventually just drops away and doesn't happen any longer. The ego, like I'm a food addict, I'm a recovered food addict, and now several years abstinent, but that's like a lot of interest in my thinking, huge interest. I mean, I was non-stop thinking. How can I do this? How can I do that? Where am I going to get the next bag of donuts from? All of this thinking, and so much interest in my identity, who I am, how important I am, what I need to get people's approval, I need to control situations, I need to get relief from the suffering. But suffering, what is suffering? Well, the ego creates suffering. The ego creates the sense of the more interested I'm in the body, the more interested I'm in my thoughts. And like, oh my goodness, there's a pain in my shoulders. Oh, I'm so interested in the pain in my shoulders. That creates even more. By tomorrow, it's even worse. So interested in it, you see, because that's creating a blockage from the peace and the stillness. In the peace, stillness and love that is always present, without ego, then things start to naturally heal, and communication and life starts to be naturally spontaneous. See, so so self-inquiry or high spiritual work is about recognizing that the ego is not so necessary, and being interested in it isn't that important. Hence, I love the Course in Miracles. Course in Miracles, we often read lessons from it. We might do one today. Because one of the first lessons is, my thoughts do not mean anything. You see, so my thoughts do not mean anything. That's at the level, that lesson is at the level of enlightenment. Because when you get to lower levels of spirituality, well, of course your thoughts mean something, but at the level of enlightenment, the teachings start to become like, my thoughts do not mean anything, they're not important, but you don't need to be interested in them. All right, so the world doesn't exist.
No.
So is there a problem?
No.
Is there any thing that needs to be clarified with this?
No.
Can this be taken away?
No.
Is there something to fear?
It seems like now there is, so there wasn't, and now...
Okay, so now there's a you that's afraid.
Yeah, I'm picking up. Okay, now I'm back. It seems like I was somewhere, and now I'm back.
This is good.
As an I identity.
Okay, so...
And I was...
Okay. So this I identity... Are you
but
this
this
I
can't
identity?
happen in time.
So there's something now interested in I, yes?
Mm.
So this interest in I is being observed right now. Go to the observer of the interest in this I.
So basically, if I want freedom, I can just stop being interested in myself altogether.
Yes, that is it. Your interest in you creates the continuation of you. That's correct.
Oh my God. It is so simple.
It's very simple.
Yeah, so that they can't be, oh, there was this and now this is me. Because often in the past, so drawing from past experience, there would be peace, love, spiritual, and then there is me, and then there's that, and there's me. So flicking between one another. But I don't have to be interested in myself, actually. There's a choice somewhere there.
Yes. So the you exists when there's interest. Otherwise, there's just only
It won't
peace.
exist.
It won't exist.
No, it doesn't.
It's true, it doesn't exist. Only your interest allows it to appear. Only interest in it. There is an observer here which observes interest and non-interest. Stay in that. So interest, there's interest here. No, there's no interest. But there's something that observes interest and non-interest, which is not interested in either. So stay in that. Stay in that. You see, nothing is important. Nothing needs to be interested in. It's very, very good. So you see how the I is birthed. The I is birthed with interest. And then suddenly, with too much interest, then there's huge identification with thinking. Then starts the sense of the body. Even if I talk this, it's not really useful because it will just birth the I. But you have to be very, very clear that this is all rubbish. You know, you're getting interested in this stuff. You don't have to be interested in this.
So now I'm having the thoughts, oh, I can't cope with this, I can't go this far, I can't do
So
it.
these are all
And I don't have to be interested in those.
No, those are all thoughts.
Right.
All of these are thoughts.
Because they observe.
Yeah. You know, the next thought that comes is a thought. It's just a thought which is being observed. Otherwise you're afraid of the next thought. You need to be afraid of the next thought?
It's irrelevant.
It's irrelevant. All your thoughts are irrelevant. All your thoughts are irrelevant.
And now there is, how is this possible?
That's a thought.
But I don't have to be interested in it.
So how is it impossible is a thought.
Yeah.
As soon as you pay interest to that the I is birthed. Yeah. Now it's like you have to have another thought to answer that thought. So you have to recognize that they're all thoughts. All of them are being observed. They're all unimportant. Can there ever be a thought which is so important that we need an I? This is what you have to be clear on that. If there's confusion with that, then we come back again.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, there can be important thoughts, really.
Now?
Yeah, it's the same thing, same space, beingness.
Okay, you can let me know if that changes. You know, and we'll find what has become so interesting. You practice staying there.